Hello.
Hey, Joey, how you
Look at that.
doing?
All good, man. And you?
Look at that. My Dutch neighbor is in the house.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to get the camera right here.
Yeah,
Is
that's
this
absolutely fine.
this is
So,
okay, right?
I mean, what the people need to know is, I mean, we had a chat earlier, and
Hmm.
then we've known each other for a while from the
Yeah,
names and the
by name.
productions and by name exactly. And we started round about the same age. You started with 14, I started with 14,
Yeah.
and you've been a very successful artist yourself. And I'm just very happy that we, under these circumstances, because of mindset and getting your mental state into the right spot and being positive. That is a new thing how we got connected instead of music. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah,
And
exactly.
and
It's fun.
and that's amazing. So for everybody who doesn't know you, can you give us a quick introduction about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. My name is Joey Lelyveld, better known as JoeySuki probably. I've been a DJ and music producer for over 10 years, I guess. I started at the bottom, DJing at weddings and stuff, and then worked my way up towards the local clubs and the bars. Started to make my own music, and that really helped me to build a career from music, and that led me to like working with the likes of Hardwell, for example. I did a collaboration with him, released a lot of revealed recordings, Spin In, Defected, Tool Room. Yeah,
Amazing, yeah.
different kind of labels, and started touring the world on the age of 21. Yeah, 21.
Hmm.
Um, and eventually in 2014, at the height of my career, I ended up in a burnout. And I guess most people who are watching right now probably have seen the documentary of Avicii.
Yep. Yeah.
And when I saw that documentary, I was just like amazed by how much of the same things I saw. Like I noticed so many things happening that happened to me as well.
Yeah.
And that was crazy for me to see. So yeah, burned out, and I just really felt unhappy. I wasn't happy being a DJ, being an artist. And after a while, after visiting a coach, a career coach actually, and a psychologist, I just had the epiphany, and I thought like, I'm living a life that isn't made for me. Like,
Hmm.
what? How did I end up here? Like
Yeah, of
some
course.
so weird. Because yeah, I was successful, but somehow I wasn't happy with it, and so I decided to quit my career in 2015. And after that, I first took a year to yeah, land on my feet again and try to balance my life again,
Yeah.
find back the peace. And after that, I started thinking like, what is the thing I like? Because I still like music, I still like the music industry. It's just that I don't want to be that guy on the stage. Uh,
Yeah, I
but what,
understand.
but what do I really like, and what can I add to that industry? And I really like to help people. I really like to guide them through the industry, but also bring them the knowledge that I've gained over the years from the music industry, but also on the mental health side.
Yeah.
And that's something where we connected on, as in, yeah, after I had the burnout, I started educating myself. I started diving deeper into the brain, like how does this thing work? Like we wake
Yeah,
up
of
with
course.
it
Yeah.
every day,
Yeah.
but somehow nobody really knows how to operate it properly, properly. And I decided to dive deeper into that and started listening podcasts at first, read some books, and eventually started to do some educations as well. And now I'm here, like 3.5 years later. I'm running a business called Artist Coaching, and
Hmm.
I coach artists on their business side, so I help them build their careers, and on the other side, on the mental well-being.
Well, that's absolutely amazing. So, and I mean, on the if you look at it, how your situation was with the burnout and everything, that happened to me in 2013.
Yeah,
You know, that it was just because it was so much pressure rushing over you, you know, all of a sudden. And you talked about Avicii before. And I mean, this guy that's another level of pressure
Yeah,
that guy had. And he simply couldn't take it, you know? So,
exactly.
and for me in 2013 was the same. I was really close to getting the burnout. So what I've done is I pulled the plug. I pulled the plug completely, grabbed my
Hmm.
girlfriend, went to Australia for 4 months, hired a minivan from a friend who's living in Brisbane, and just toured all over Australia for 4 months,
Yeah.
you know? And that got, I've tried to get my life back in order, you know? And, but
Hmm.
as in, for me back then, I didn't understand, or I couldn't find a way out because I was just like lost because I couldn't find the spot where to start, you know,
Hmm.
and what was wrong, what is
Yeah.
actually the point where I need to start working on and what it is, you know.
But
So
that's the problem, you know, like when you have an injury on your body, it's easy to notice, right?
yeah, yeah, of course,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
have a
sure,
broken arm, or my knee is
yeah,
broken, or whatever.
yeah,
But when you're broken from the inside, because somehow that's the case, you know, something's broken, um, it's really hard to find it, and no one else can see it. And
yeah, that's true, that's true,
and that makes it difficult for people to understand because, especially as an international DJ, you are living the life, right? You're living
yeah,
the
of
dream
course,
life.
yeah, yeah, of
So
course,
why would you be unhappy? Why would you complain about the situation? And to a certain point, I can totally I agree with those people, you know, because DJs only show the best moments in their career on social media.
of course,
Most DJs don't show the downsides of it. So I have to agree with the people that it looks amazing from the outside, but it's really tough from the inside. It's like those 60 minutes on stage. There's 48 hours ahead of it and 48 hours after it,
yeah,
which you
of
don't
course,
see, which takes a lot of heavy traveling.
yes. I mean, that's for us, that is the job. Oh, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? So
yeah,
touring was always the job, and I mean, to the outside, as you said, you always show as an artist, you just show the cherries on the cake,
yeah,
right? So like, I'm here, I'm in Dubai today, I'm in Shanghai tomorrow, and then I'm going to the States for 3 days, and then I come back and I play 20 shows a month,
yeah,
and but you have to see how consuming it is for your body, you know?
yeah.
So it just sucks the energy out of you. And I mean, we are wiser now. We would do things differently now. And I
Yeah,
mean,
everything.
like everything, like from the ground up, I would do everything differently. And some of the people who are watching might wonder why um, do you want to talk about this on a Music Monday kind of thing, you know, about a mindset thing, because we want you not to make that fault that we made, you
Yeah,
know, because we want all the people who are, most of the people that are watching are evolving artists and still at the beginning of their careers, and they want to have a career, you know.
yeah,
But for us, I think for you, I can talk for you as well, that it's like for us, it's just super important to show the people, listen, we've been through it. Don't make the same mistakes. Learn
yeah.
from it and be aware. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't really believe in telling people what not to do
Yeah,
because every person is different, and I also believe that there are people who really are made to be an artist. Like I know people who live the touring life maximum and they enjoy every second of it.
yeah, yeah, of course.
So I think it's like a personal thing, you know. Every artist has their own manual, and they need to figure out how their manual works. And I think that that's the goal of the coaching that I do, for example, is like guiding people through their own minds and showing like, hey, this is how you operate. This is your manual. So that helps when you have to make decisions like signing a record deal or taking a tour or whatever.
Hmm.
If you know how you operate from the inside, and if you know what's important to you personally, you can make a better decision.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because if I have a look back at how I made decisions in my career, it was completely based on what other people told me to do.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's mainly because you're ignorant, you're young, you have no clue about how this industry works. You have no clue about how you work yourself from the inside. So you just throw it all out and say like, okay, I have a manager, I have a booker, you guys are supposed to be the professionals in this industry, you guys would probably know. So I completely trusted people around me to, well, for example, schedule the bookings or deal with all the other.
Take care of you. You know what I mean? They get their share, and they need to take care of you. But I mean, they see the dollar bills as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't want to blame managers or bookers for not taking care of their artists, because I believe that it's the responsibility of the artist himself to say how your mental well-being is at that moment. Because like I mentioned in the beginning, you can't see from the inside. Like the manager can't look at you and say like, hey, you're not doing well. If you're a great actor, they won't see. So I don't think it's fair to blame a manager or a booker for it. Of course, it's something they can be on the lookout, and be sharp on it. But you can't blame them for it.
No, of course not.
In the end, you're the one responsible, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I mean, we've actually, guys, Joey and I have been talking to each other today for the first time. Yeah. And we just got we've been talking, I think, half an hour or something, and we just, if we would have a bottle of wine, we just sit the whole night and talk, and it's just like a never-ending thing. But I mean, it's very difficult to put everything that is crucial into 1 hour. But I think the easiest thing is just going from the outside, from the big thing, into a little bit of details. What is most important for the people to know. And I already saw a couple of questions, like what is the number one thing that you should focus on when you're doing when you are supposed to look out for yourself, for your mind? What would that be the most crucial thing for you if you meet a young artist? What should they do at first?
Well, one of the things that pops up immediately is learn how to say no. Which sounds really easy, but when you're an aspiring artist and you've been working for 5 years to get at a certain level, and to play at those big stages and to get signed to those big labels, if you have been working for 5 years and then suddenly all those dreams can become reality, if you continue working even more, it's pretty tempting, and it's really hard to say no to a certain deal or to a label or whatever comes on your way. But eventually you have to say no at certain moments to save yourself. And that's something that I never really did because I was afraid that I would miss the opportunity. And that took me a lot of energy and time. The other thing I would do differently is listen more to my gut feeling.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I learned over the years is that your gut feeling never lies.
That's actually right,
all the deals that ended up shitty in the end, I already had a feeling once I signed the deal, I don't know, financially this might be a nice deal, but something feels off. You might recognize that feeling.
Several times.
Yeah. And most of the time, those deals backfired. So, I would listen more to my gut feeling.
Yeah, that's a great tip. And 100%, of course, it's like getting an apartment in Amsterdam, for example, It's like people are fighting over apartment, or in New York or whatever, in all the big cities, it's really hard to get an apartment. And as soon as you as an opportunity leaks, everybody is going to jump on it, but sometimes it's wise. I mean, you take the apartment and then a week later you realize, shit, I could have gotten the bigger apartment for the same price directly at
Yeah.
the ocean. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Hmm.
sometimes it's a little bit patience is important, like you said.
It
You
is,
know?
but patience is one of the biggest challenges I see, especially with aspiring artists. Like they want things now, you know. They
Yeah.
don't want to wait for 5 years, work their ass off for without any payment or without any
Hmm.
result. But in the end, you know, that's the thing that's necessary to come at that level of success. And
Yeah.
it's not just with artists, it's with athletes, it's with business people. The first years are terrible. You have to work your ass off. You're not gonna make
Yeah.
any money. You're gonna have to invest a lot of time. And for what? You know, you have to
Yeah.
wait until the first moment hits where you feel like, hey, this is my first point where I get recognized by the industry or
Yeah.
by fans or whatever, or making my first money, for example.
Yeah.
And it's hard to hang in there.
Yeah, true, absolutely. I mean, people say, I mean, I listen to a lot nowadays. I told you already. When I'm in the car, I'm not listening to music anymore. I listen
Yeah,
to podcasts.
yeah,
You know, and podcasts of like the stuff that we do here, but just from the people who are the really popular life coaches and what have you, you know. So,
yeah,
and that's like really interesting to hear, you know. And so what I wanted to say is, it's not. They said it will take a person from the ground idea, I want to do this, up to being at that level as a professional. You have to calculate around 10 years
yeah.
to
I can
be in an,
imagine. Yeah, in between
yeah,
5 to 10 years. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a good
So
estimate.
yeah, but sometimes I think it depends on in what niche you are, right?
Mm.
So in music you've seen people, last week you got a record sent by a guy, yeah, never heard of him, and then in 3 months he has this monster tune and is touring the globe, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
You
mean
know,
that,
the whole part of success. It's there are so many elements that are part of it that makes
yeah.
it difficult to estimate how long it's going to take. I've read this book. It's called The Tribe of Mentors. I don't know if you know it.
Say it again?
Tribe of Mentors.
No, I've never heard of that.
It's really fun. It's not necessarily a story. It's like a combination of, I believe it's 150 short interviews.
Mm,
And the guy interviewed about, I think it's 100, 150 successful people. So successful people from different kinds of things. So business people, athletes, artists, TV personalities, everything. Everyone
yeah.
with some form of success. Dalai Lama is also in it. And he asked all those people the same questions. And if you start reading those stories from those people, it's like short pieces per person. You after a while you start to see a red line through all the stories.
Mm,
Like everyone hit it rock bottom at a certain point.
yeah.
Everyone before they become really successful, they first hit rock bottom. They thought they wanted to quit. They had 18,000 no's before they could get one yes.
Mm.
It took them a long time. Some of them lost all their money before they even started. Um, and it's something
That's
I started reading it and I was like, fuck, this was me, you know.
yeah, of course.
I had all the same things, you know, all the same things. It's crazy to see. And eventually the success of it is that once everyone started to focus on their own skills, and yeah, started to work on something that they're passionate about, that's when success started to come in.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, most of the people don't have the opportunity to work as musicians like full time and earn money with it. So live
Hmm.
their passion and being thankful for being able to do what they love.
Hmm.
So most of the people have their 9 to 5 jobs,
Hmm.
yeah, and do the music thing as their passion in the evenings and on the
Yeah.
weekends and stuff like that. But a lot, I mean, I got those questions quite a lot. Is what do you want to do? What are you going to do if you don't want to work in that job anymore and want to switch and make your dream come true. So, I mean, what out of my experience, I can just say, don't cut the other job when you're still
No.
in baby's feet on
No.
the other job,
No.
in your passion, in your passion. Yeah. So don't quit on everything and start running into the shithole,
Yeah.
right? Because that's most likely that is like the hardcore way. Yeah.
Yeah, the
And
last thing you want to have is financial stress.
exactly. Yeah.
So I would
So
always keep a side job to at least cover my like the standard cost of your monthly costs, you know, like you want to have a side job maybe for 3 days or 4 days that covers those costs so you don't have
yeah,
stress from it. So you can focus on the other days, completely focus on music without the idea of making money on it. Because in the
yeah,
beginning, as you know as well, you're not gonna make any money on it.
that's absolutely right. Yeah. So, and I mean, unless you're at that point where you say, okay, this is taking off now, this pays off. I'm making good quality productions. I have Refine Productions that help me finish my records. And then, no, I'm joking. So, and then you are able to start touring the globe, yeah,
Yeah,
and are able to earn money with that. Then you can start thinking about quitting that other job.
yeah.
Yeah, but
But
this is just just something that we can give people on the way. So just keep that in mind
yeah,
if you are the hardballer or you want to play it safe, right?
you know, you can take that leap, as in you can leave your job as long as you have like a buffer, a financial buffer for like
Yeah, of course.
a year or
100.
2 or 3 or 4.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of money then.
Yeah, so not many people have that amount of money ready to go. So that's why probably most people aren't able to do it. And I just wouldn't recommend it, you know, like financial stress is gonna kill your creativity in the end. And you need your creativity if you want to build an artist career.
Yes.
So you don't want to get in a position where money is gonna put you in a bad situation.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. So
Yeah.
I've just stumbled upon a comment from Real Danny Dan
Hmm.
saying, I would give everything to tour as a DJ. It's crazy to hear that could change into a bad life point.
Hmm.
So I mean, this is nothing. We don't want to tell you that it's going down the drain and
No.
then that you won't make it. We just mean be aware that that doesn't happen to you. You know,
Yeah,
be focused and what do you
exactly.
want to
One
say?
one of the things that I always mention as well, because I can imagine that if you listen to stories like this, the music industry sounds like a hell. And it's not, you know, it's a great place. And especially if you're a talented guy who loves to tour the world and who loves to be an artist performing on stage, it's the best job on the planet. You know, if you're great at it, you can make a great deal of money as well. But be aware of the fact that it takes more than just playing 60 minutes on stage. There's a lot more to it, and that you can prepare for it.
Yeah,
Um, and I think that if you're an aspiring artist right now, it's great to have, well, live streams like this, or podcasts, or books, or whatever you can use to educate yourself to prevent this from happening in the future.
yeah, that's absolutely right. So how did you change your life after?
Hmm.
I mean, that's a question that I wanted to ask you before as
Yeah.
well. But I mean, when we were on the phone, we said we wished we had that knowledge about influencing your thoughts. Like you're the master of your own thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bottom line. That's what we're saying. You're the
Yeah.
master of your
Exactly.
own thoughts, and you decide what you are going to think.
Yeah.
Right. So if
Exactly.
it's good or if it's bad, you know. And
Hmm.
I mean, I'm 42 now, and I just found out about it, yeah, 4 months ago, and it changed my life upside down. And I just said, imagine we would have that knowledge at the beginning of our music careers.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have the same feeling. Like right now I'm 31.
Yeah.
And since I was 25, I started diving deeper into this in this whole theory.
Well, that's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, and it's you know, looking back at it, psychology has always interested me in some kind of way. I
Yeah.
just never acted on it. I never studied for it. I never read books. I hated reading books. So I never really did anything with it until I hit rock bottom and I was kind of forced to do something with it.
Yeah.
Um, so what I really learned and what I'm really grateful for that I know now is that I have control over my own thoughts and control over my own life. And that sounds really weird, but I feel like the
It
first,
does. It does. Yeah.
yeah, because I feel like the first 25 years of my life felt like I was on autopilot, you know, like I
Mm.
just went and I never really felt like I was in control. I just did whatever came on my path and yeah, listened to other people, what they were saying about me or what they advised me to do. But I never really thought about what I wanted, what made me happy, and which course I wanted to go in my life. And that's something that really changed my life. Like you've experienced 4 months ago, that's what I've been doing for 6 years now.
Well, that's amazing. So you're waking up as a happy boy.
Yeah, most of the time, yeah, I do. And yeah, you know, of course, that's also something. Don't think that you will ever become Jesus, you know, like you will always have shitty days. You will always have bad feelings. You will always have bad moments in life. That just happens. It's just that how you deal with those moments. That's the thing that you learn to live with. Like, are you
Yeah.
going to let something fuck up your week? Or are you going to let it take you down for a minute and then just continue with your day?
Yeah.
And I think that that's a powerful thing to be in control of.
It is, but I mean, here I already see a couple of replies. That's also what I wanted to ask you. The great thing is, books are amazing, and sometimes you love
Hmm.
reading books. But the great thing is,
Hmm.
you can go on Audible. You can nearly all the books are available as
Yeah,
audiobooks. Yeah. So,
yeah.
and
I don't
that's,
read
I
them.
mean,
I listen them.
yeah, me too. Me too. I do the same, and you can
Yeah,
always repeat them and go back to it. And when you're driving, just switch from listening to radio, which doesn't bring you one step
yeah,
further. Yeah, because
yeah.
I'm done listening to radio anyway. So, what is which if how do you want to say? Um, what book would you recommend? What is the for you? What is the gold standard? What was the gold standard for you that made you open your eyes?
Which made me open up my eyes.
Yeah. What or what
I'll
situation?
pick one.
Yeah.
Um, I'm completely blacking out on the title here, but I'm picking one. It pops up in my mind later. I'm picking one which is made for artists because it's about creativity and all the blocks that you create for yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm completely blacking out on the title now, but it's
It doesn't matter. Google is our best friend.
no,
What is the
yeah,
writer?
yeah, that's a great question. Small little book, not too thick, only like 100 pages maybe.
Okay. But was that a book that changed your point of view?
Um, it changed the way how I think about being in control, as in the book is more about creativity, as in yeah, the art of war. It's in the yeah, that's it. It's in the comments. The art of war.
The Art of War?
Oh, the war of art. Sorry, the war of art. That's it. Yeah,
Aguara music. Well,
yeah.
you
Thanks,
know what's
thanks,
up.
Aguara. Thanks, Aguara.
So
That's it.
yeah, the Art of War. I
No, the
haven't
war of art,
read.
because the art of war is another book, which isn't the one I mean, but it does exist. It's also a famous book.
Okay, so and when you're listening to podcasts, for example, what podcasts are your favorite podcasts? Who do you listen to?
in the moment when I started to switch my life, so when I started to switch from DJ to something else, I listened a lot to Gary Vee, which is more
Yeah,
like a marketing podcast
yeah,
actually.
I know, and he's a tough guy.
He's a
He's a
tough
tough
guy,
guy.
but I
For
like
me,
the
it's just like, oh man.
yeah. It's a guy that you should like as a person. Not everyone likes him, but
Yeah,
I like the way he communicates. He's
yeah,
direct. He's pure. That's the way I like it. And the way he like it's not just marketing, but he also talks about happiness and gratefulness and all those
of
kind of
course.
things. And
Yeah.
for me, that really helped in combination with the marketing thing. And the other one that I really love to listen is the Artificial Intelligence podcast by
Okay.
Lex Friedman and the Joe Rogan podcast. Those are like the main ones that I listen to.
Okay. Great.
And
So, go
mhm.
ahead.
the
You
Joe
want to say
Rogan
more?
the Joe Rogan podcast, I love that because there's multiple kind of topics that he talks about. So you have Elon Musk, for example, but you also have psychologists and you have sports people, different kinds of disciplines. But it's health connected to mind and body. It's that balance.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just looking up who that guy was I fell in love with. So I'm listening to a couple of podcasts all the time. Of course, I'm listening to Brandon Bouchard.
Hmm.
Tom Billieu is
Hmm.
you know him?
I know the name, but I don't
Tom
know.
Billieu, it's called impact theory.
Oh yeah,
So and
yeah.
impact theory.
He has
So
that book
he's
as
like
well, right?
yeah, exactly. And he also so it's a show. It's he has a YouTube channel and doing the podcast, and he's on Spotify as well. So Tom Billieu,
Hmm.
um, and he has some amazing, incredible people on the show from all different aspects, like high performance athletes,
Yeah,
um, Joe Dispenza, and all these guys. Do you know Joe Dispenza? You know
hmm,
Joe Dispenza probably. It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
very, very focused on the way of thinking in the past, thinking in the future, and influencing your life with meditation,
yeah.
you know? So just tricking out your mind, you
Hmm.
know? And I think that is, I mean, I've read the book of Joe Dispenza, and it was just a drainer, you know? It's just like, come on, now come to the point. It's like very American, you know? But I
Hmm.
mean, when he got to the point of the meditation part, because that is something that for me is an essential part of my daily routine,
Hmm.
you know. So for all the people who haven't meditated ever meditated, and I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, oh my God, he's sitting there with his legs crossed and doing this shanti and kind of
Yeah.
thing. Well, that's not what meditation is about.
No.
You know, meditation is all about just letting go of all the noise around you, you
Hmm.
know, just like
Focus.
just focus on
Hmm.
your mind, of your thoughts, just blend everything out and just make your own thoughts, for example, of the person you want to be,
Yeah.
you know, just visualize the person you want to be, you know, and I mean, there are just like a couple of routines that you can do. It doesn't need to be like an hour of meditation. My meditation in the morning is exactly 11 minutes long. You know, it's a guided meditation by a
Do you
guy
use an
called
app?
Brian. Yeah, I don't use an app. I use from a podcast. It's
Hmm.
the Reality Revolution from Brian
Hmm.
Scott.
Hmm.
Um, he does a daily podcast. Can you imagine a
That's a
daily
lot of work.
podcast? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a reality revolution, and it's a meditation. It's called mind heart coherence meditation.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it just focuses on first, like just laying down or sit down, inhaling, exhaling, just looking at your breath going into your lungs and out again, and then just focusing by touching your heart. Just focus on that emotion when you
Hmm.
touch your heart. You know, just like
But this is where people tune
visualizing.
out. This is where people tune out because the minute you say touch your heart, people are like, fuck this.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
this. Yeah, but that I
Yeah.
mean that was something that that was something for me, you know. That is like when I did it the first time, because I read that Brandon Bouchard book, Yeah, High Performance Habits, and that's a book that's amazing. It's you can grab it on Spotify as well. It's for
Mm-hmm.
free, and you can. I've listened to it in 4 or 5 days. It's 11 hours long,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Wow.
And
Mm-hmm.
he said, just try it out. If it's not for you, the meditation, just let it go, do something else. But this is something that worked for him, and I've
Mm-hmm.
tried it out. Was looking for meditation, and a friend of mine is a life coach as well. He's actually been in the music industry in a quite high position, and
Mm-hmm.
then went into coaching, but like bigger artists and like bigger companies, not
Mm-hmm.
like just music based, but more
Mm-hmm.
like business
Yeah.
people. And I mean, it's just important to get some sort of mentor as well, get
Mm-hmm.
some people on board that that know how things work. You know
I
how they've been there. You know.
You know, that's one of the things that I learned as well over the last couple of years, that having a mentor, as you might call it, like having someone around you that has experience, that has knowledge, is so much worth, you know, like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
100%. That's
and
you need some guidance at some point. You
you
know.
can't do everything by yourself. So you want to have people around you who can help you with certain things, or at least listen to your story and try to advise you on your custom problem that you have or whatever. And I really noticed that that really helps to have people around you that you're feeling comfortable with, that have the experience, that have the knowledge, that can really boost your life.
Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
it did for me, and I'm and you feel super thankful and understood by people. Like for example, you and I, we feel connected because of this whole thing,
Hmm.
even more, even
Yeah.
though we've never met. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like it gives us a good vibe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. But that's
Because we are
probably because
like-minded.
exactly because we know from each other that we've been through the same, as in we're kind of the same, you know, we've been to the same industry with the same kind of
That's
experiences.
the weird thing. So I just posted the name of the podcast,
Yeah.
and it's called Reality Revolution Mind Heart Coherence Meditation. It's 11 minutes long, so everybody can just
Yeah.
try it out. If it's not for you, just throw a little bit. A friend of
You
mine
know,
hated it.
I've
So
actually tried meditation for 3 to 4 months, maybe,
yeah,
but I didn't really get any value from it. Weird enough.
you
Uh,
didn't.
no, I've tried it and try to do it daily, and then I'd like to do it in halfway through the day,
Hmm.
because I felt like the only thing I really got from it is that I felt like I was recharged after the 10, 12, 20 minutes that you meditated. But I don't feel like focus or whatever is a challenge for me. So somehow I felt like it didn't brought me anything aside from the power nap kind of feeling that you got from it as well. So I stopped doing it actually. But yeah, there's a lot of people who actually benefit from it. So
Yeah, I mean but it's for people actually. For me, it was really helpful as I was in a quite bad state
mhm.
mentally and with the thoughts that I had. And it just, if you're having a lot of bad thoughts, for example, this is something to turn those thoughts off.
Yeah, that's something that I really believe, that if you're in a bad place, then it really helps. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you're in a bad place, don't sit at home on your own.
No, you become crazy. That's what
Yeah,
happened
yeah,
to me actually. When
yeah,
I stopped DJing, I also ended my relationship with my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend now.
yeah.
So I kind of threw away everything in my life. I threw away my job, I threw away my relationship, I lost my house because I was living together. So I literally hit
Oh
rock
my
bottom at that
God.
moment.
Yeah, yeah. So big shitstorm.
Yeah, so I was living back at my parents' place, and
How was that?
that was that was rock bottom. Like that, I still remember the moment, the first night I slept back in my old, like where I started making music
Kid,
actually, in that room, and I was
yeah.
lying in bed and I was like, there's literally nothing left to break in my life. Like this is it. I was
Hmm.
financially drained. I lost my relationship. I lost my job. I had nothing.
Hmm.
And there was a weird feeling to that moment because at some in some form it felt terrible, and because yeah, of course you lost everything. But at the same time, it felt great because now you have all the options open again. Like you can literally start building your life from the ground off.
Mm.
And that really felt great to me because I wanted to get out of that DJ life. And somehow I wanted to get out
You
of that.
did, you did. You wanted to get out of it completely. You did.
Yeah, yeah,
And you're not missing. I mean, you're probably missing it from time to time.
that's the weird thing. Like
You
I
don't.
I only miss it sometimes, but most of the time when I miss it, it's when I have a couple of beers and when I'm at a party, like in the
Yeah, of course.
moment,
Yeah.
then I feel like, okay, wow, this is a great place to be, you know? So why did I ever stop? But I know that it's not the real, that's the one picture you see on Instagram, which you think is great, but you forget about the whole shithole behind it,
Yeah.
which I didn't like. So, but I do sometimes want to go back, but it's not that much. Somehow that feeling is just gone, and it's the same with music production as well.
Really? So
Ever
that was my next question. If you're still doing stuff for yourself, for example.
Nope. Ever since then, I think if I've made one or two tracks, that's about it.
Yeah.
And it's just because I still love music and I still love to help people with music production as well. But when I'm done with my coaching today, I just don't feel like making music again. Like I prefer to play games or whatever, or spend time with friends or family, but it's not going into the studio somehow. So it's weird.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for me, it's um, I'm just like everything in my life without music doesn't work for me, you know?
Hmm.
So, and I know that the the scene as it is at the moment it's a tough call, and you really, if you want to keep at it over decades. I mean, I've been doing it now for 25 years, longer than 25 years.
Hmm.
So, and I've been always evolving and adapting, and it's always been like a circle. Every new generation that comes, that means every 4 to 5 years, all the music circles come back to a house and then evolve new. You know, it's always just like
Yeah,
this circle that came back, you know?
yeah,
Um, and yeah, and at some point I said, yeah, well, I want to do something in the future. I want to be that Sting. I want to be a composer, make music for movies and TV shows and stuff like that, you know?
yeah,
So, and I thought about that already like 10 years ago, but I never said, Eddie, just do it. Yeah,
yeah,
just don't think about it, don't dream about it. Yeah, but I don't have the skills. I can't do orchestration and all that stuff. Well, then learn it,
yeah.
you know?
It's all
And
it's
now,
all limiting beliefs. It's all that
yeah, that's exactly right. So it's like,
it's all that little voice in the back of your mind that we all have that's telling you that you're not able to do something, or that if you're going to do it, you will fail, or
yeah,
that little voice is blocking you from so many things in your life. And that's the thing what I meant when I said that I've been on autopilot for 25 years. I have been listening to that voice for 25 years until I stopped. And that's when things changed for me. That's when I started to feel like, hey, that little voice is not how I want it to be. You know,
mm,
I do want to do this, I do want to do that, and I know it can be scary, or I know that it can give you an uncertainty in your job or whatever. But I like entrepreneurship, for example. You know, I like to
yeah,
work
of
for
course.
myself,
Yeah,
and yeah, that just completely transformed my life.
yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
super nice to hear.
By the way, I saw a comment from someone which I wanted to go deeper into. Real Danny Dan. I'm 33 years right now, working for 10 years now to reach success in the industry. I'm totally scared about the fact to be 40 and reach nothing. That's wanted to go deeper into.
Oh,
What's your thought on that? Like if you read that.
well, my thought is then probably you have to restructure. Just follow, still follow that. I mean, this guy seems, because he's been on the show from the beginning on and just following everything. And I think he's a guy who's just really, really passionate about it. Just like he's just failing and failing and failing, you know. But perhaps he should just try to settle up the horse in a different way. That's a saying in German. I don't know if you have that in Holland or something.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe I think the English version is like you have to reframe it.
Reframe it. Yeah, exactly.
Look at it from a different look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Easy said.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he says, and reach nothing. That's the part that scares me, because did you really reach nothing? You always reach something. It's just a matter of perspective. Like, if you compare yourself to people who are making millions right now, or who are being crazy successful, comparing yourself to other people most of the time only brings unhappiness.
That's absolutely right.
And I'm afraid that that's what's happening here. Like, he thinks he reached nothing, but I'm 100% sure that if I check his life, he probably reached something. Yeah. And it's just a matter of how you look at yourself, you know, like, if you start comparing yourself to other people, like, shit hits the fan somewhere. That's not a great tactic.
No, that's absolutely right. But what could you tell Dan now? What should he do? What would be the first step that he would need to do?
Well, if he really has been working on music for 10 years, if I'm reading that correctly, working for 10 years now to reach success in the industry. Yeah. If he really has been working for 10 years and didn't reach anything, that probably means that he's doing something not right. Yeah. He might not have the right knowledge. He might not have the right connections, because it is a certain industry that works in a certain way, and there is some sort of formula to become a successful artist, and there is some sort of blueprint. Otherwise, other people wouldn't have made it as well. If it's ever been done, it's possible. That's the way how I see it. Yeah. And I feel like, because I have clients that have been working for multiple years as well, it could be that he's stuck in his own loophole, that he's constantly stuck in the things and constantly working on the things that he knows, but he doesn't really gets out of his comfort zone to learn about different things, to talk about other people, to try new things. And that could be fear because of the age, for example. It could be insecurity because of what other people might think of making that steps. Yeah. There could be a lot of mental challenges behind it, but I'm just naming a few things. Maybe he recognizes something, or maybe someone else in the chat recognizes something. But those are one of the things that I see happening a lot with artists: insecurity and fear.
You know what helps a lot? Being bold. That's a very important thing. You just have to think about, I can't go there, and I can't do that, I can't call him, and I can't do this. And if you have a phone number or an email address, or you know that somebody is somewhere where you would have the chance to get in touch, just do it. What do you have to lose? You get a no, and that's it.
But that's the moment where that little voice comes in, because then it starts talking to you. Yeah. Why should you email that guy? Who are you to email that guy? Do you think he's ever going to respond? You know?
Yeah, of course. You know how many? I mean, I'm at a point, or I've been at a point where I said, okay, I want to really go into the sync world. I want to be a composer. I want to put music on TV shows. I want to put it on ads. That's what I want to do. I want to do cinematic stuff. I want to do like really musical, skillful things. And I want to convince the people that I'm the shit, you know? So, and that's, I didn't take that step because I didn't have the courage, and I didn't have the self-belief that I could do it, you know?
And was there fear behind it? Like, were you afraid of losing something, for example?
No, I was just like, it's so much work, and I have to learn this, and I have to reconnect, build the network, and I know nobody, And that's exactly what the young people think as well. I don't know anybody who can help me, and
Yeah.
I'm not in touch with people, and I'm not good enough. And just like, yeah, just the self-belief is missing, you
But
know?
it's also laziness, if I understand that correctly.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
laziness.
and
And
and that's the thing that you might see with a lot of people as well. Like they want to become successful, but they don't want to do the work to get there. Because
yeah,
you can't go from 0 to 100 at once, you know.
no.
You have to take
So,
baby steps.
and now that we're talking about structuring and all that stuff,
Hmm.
um, do you structure your day? Do you have routines in your day?
No, and that's the way how I like it. The thing
Are,
is,
are you
I do
okay?
have some sort of program, but it's more weekly than it is daily. I'll guide you
Okay.
through it. Um, I work from Mondays till Thursdays, so 4 days a week.
Yeah.
From Friday till Sunday, it's off time. So I don't do any appointments. I don't meet with clients. If there's a conference somewhere around the world where I have to be, of course, then I go. But if it's not necessary, I don't go and I don't work. So Friday is my daddy day because I got a 2-year-old kid.
Hmm.
So Friday is my daddy day, and then the weekend is for friends and family and fun. So
Yeah.
from Monday till Thursday is my work days, and I work from 9 to 6. Um, and sometimes, like now, I do a podcast at 8 o'clock, but that isn't a regular thing or something. When I'm at home, I'm at home and
Not
I don't
yet.
work. Yeah,
Not
no,
yet.
I'm really easy with those things, as in 6 o'clock is kind of my border.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
do
Yeah, but
that
that's good. Yeah.
I do that to prevent myself from working too much again.
Yeah.
Because, like I mentioned, I have a 2-year-old kid and I want to spend time with her as well. I want to cook at home, I want to lay her into bed, and I want to spend time with my girlfriend as well. And
Okay.
I can't do those things if I start working at home at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I understand. Yeah.
So
So
that's
you
kind.
okay.
Mhm.
So you get up, but you put an alarm clock when you want to get
No,
up.
no, the child is the alarm clock.
Ah, are you serious?
Yeah,
Wow, that's crazy. But
yeah.
that's I mean that's like the absolute opposite of what I do,
But
you
that's
know?
what I noticed, because the guy that you mentioned with the book, I lost the title again.
Brand high performance habits, you mean?
Yeah, the High Performance Habit book. I have it as well. I tried it, but I'm just not that person who's gonna time every single moment in his life, who's gonna make goals every day in his life. It just doesn't work for me.
No, no, it's just I do it here.
Hmm.
This is the high performance planner. You
Yeah,
can get it on Amazon, you know?
I got
So
it. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean I use it every
Hmm.
fucking day, you know? And it is it, it is really essential for me because I'm just at the beginning of what you already do 6 years,
I know.
for example, you know?
Yeah,
So
that might have to do something with it, but I think it's also a personal thing, because again, we all operate in a different way.
yeah, yeah,
And
100%.
and for me, it doesn't work. Like the same with meditation. For me, it doesn't work, but it doesn't mean that, oh, that's nice. I have it here as well for the child. Yeah.
For the child, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
For the big child here.
Yeah. But I do see that it works for a lot of other people. It just doesn't work
Hmm.
for me. And I think that the strength is in the fact that you have to acknowledge if it doesn't work for you. You can follow the
Yeah, that's
trend
true.
by doing what everyone else is doing, but to me, it just felt like I was wasting time in some kind of way.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, it was not wasting time because I really needed a little bit of structure in my life because
Yeah.
I had so many things. I mean, you are like established now with what you're doing, and you probably have visions of what you still want to do. But for me, I was just like I started this new business, Refine Productions. I want to become a composer and do like film scores and stuff like that. And and that's the reason why I still need to put the thoughts in the
Yeah.
right spot. I mean, I get up at 6 o'clock.
Hmm.
7 o'clock is CrossFit till 8. Then I go into the
I,
forest
I
with
do
my dog.
CrossFit too.
Ah, you see, fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we could do some watts together
Yeah,
then next
exactly.
time, you know?
Yeah.
So I go to from 7 till 8 in the morning, I do CrossFit, then I go into the forest with the dog, then I get home, make a coffee, fill out this little book, and then start the day, you know? And
Yeah.
just like this morning, there's just like two things, like a morning mindset that helps you just to focus on the positive elements in your life.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you tend to be a person to have bad thoughts, I think that's not a bad thing to do.
I think the
You
book
know?
also kind of works like a mentor in some kind of way, or like a
Yeah,
coach in some kind of
yeah.
way.
And you see, also had a question
Hmm.
from someone who asked, "How do I get a mentor when I don't have money?" You
Hmm.
don't need mentors. Don't take money
The
normally.
the thing is, for me, podcasts work as a mentor
Yeah,
because when I listen, for example, to the Joe Rogan podcast, he has a lot of big, smart, famous guests.
yeah,
And listening to a person talking for 3 hours about one specific topic, for example, you can pick their brain, and there will be something in those 3 hours that you can that resonates with your life at that moment, which opens up a thought that you wouldn't have had without him, without that
yeah,
person, without
yeah,
that
yeah.
moment.
That's absolutely right. And most of the time, these people, you have your iPhone in your hand, you listen to the podcast, and you say, "Yes, man, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, that's me." You know,
yeah,
how often did that happen?
a lot. Yeah,
Several times,
yeah,
several times,
and
and
that's
it's
because in
eye-opening.
yeah, and that's because in the core we think we're all different, but in the core we're all the same. You know,
100%,
there's
yes.
so many things that we do the same as people, and we all have fear, we all have anxiety in some kind of way, but that's normal. It's great to have stress because without stress you wouldn't feel, like you want to have stress because that makes you feel alive as well. It's
Yeah,
just that you need a healthy amount of it and not too much. But that's
that's
with
true.
everything.
And yeah, and also I think that um, for the situation that you and I have been in, like totally flat out, you know, just like on your knees. I think that was meant to happen to
Yeah,
realize what good can be, you know?
yeah.
I
I'm
think
I'm
that's,
I'm really happy that it overcame me. As
yeah,
in, I always compare it to, I think other people might have this, but they call
yeah,
it the midlife crisis when they're 50 or 60 years old.
yeah, true, true, yeah,
It's kind of the same as what I've been gone through as well, but just
yeah,
on a way earlier age. And
yeah,
I can imagine that once you're 50 years old and then you kind of wake up and feel like, fuck, I did so many things wrong in my life, or I wanted to
yeah,
do things differently, but I didn't. And having regret is the one thing I don't want to have in life.
no,
So I'm
100%.
so I'm happy that it happened to me at 25 and not at 50.
Thank you. It happened to me at 42, which is
Yeah,
like,
but it's still
ooh,
you're
you
still
know.
young, man. Like you're gonna get like to 90 or 100. You're not even halfway.
Yeah, let's see. Hold on. We just have 30 seconds left because then it just pops off. I'm going to
Okay.
save this video and get back to you in 1 minute, okay?
Yeah,
In
sure.
30
Yeah.
seconds. 30
Yeah.
seconds. Okay. Guys, stay tuned.